Okay, hi, my name is Rémi. I've been using Elixir for about 2 years here at Mirago, actually in Quebec City. So I'm going to be doing this talk in English. I'm not quite used to doing that, so maybe it'll help me talk slower and and hopefully the slides will speak for themselves too. I'm going to be talking about a feature called Ecto embedded schemas. Sometimes we need to do that in our database. We need to store lists and maps into a database row using a JSON column most of the time. And of course, many ORMs provide some kind of feature for that by providing some kind of dumping and loading mechanism to convert native data types from, in this case, Elixir or Ruby or Java to JSON types and back and forth. Ecto can do that, obviously, provide some kind of dump mechanism, but it also provides a feature called embedded schemas that allows us to do much more than that. Ultimately, we want to be able to achieve this, so params might be some kind of data we receive from an HTTP request, some kind of form. And this is a pretty standard use case for us. We store a lot of translated data in our databases because we do mostly bilingual and multilingual websites and web applications. So we don't want to have a title EN or a title FR column, so we want to store that in a JSON column called title, and we don't want to have a separate column for each language. So let's try the naive approach by just using some map to JSON and JSON to map mechanism. This is an Ecto schema. It's a pretty standard Ecto schema. We're declaring our field, and we're defining a title field with the map type. I don't want to spend too much time explaining this because this is something you might not want to do because, for example, in this case, we want to make sure the FR key is present in the title structure, so we have to do some kind of weird validate change, Ecto validation. This is an Ecto change set, so we have to do some kind of complex validate change title because we want to validate nested data in the map. And the other thing is we're handling some kind of arbitrary data. So if we pass an FR key, an EN key, and some random other key, it will be stored in the database because we'd have to implement some kind of whitelisting or blacklisting function to exclude and just insert the data we want in the database. So we don't want to do that. Because the result will be this: the title that we're going to be storing in the database will just be a map. It's not going to have any structure. As I said, it's possible to inject some arbitrary data in it, in the params. This is a case where you might want to use a map type for an Ecto field. If you want to store some kind of payment transaction response from Stripe or for some gateway you're using, you want to store it in a JSON field, but you don't care about the specific structure of the data you're storing, this might be fine. Let's try the actual topic of the talk, an embedded schema. So instead of defining a map field for the title field, we're going to be declaring an embeds one. So this is a single object we're going to be storing in the title column, and we're actually binding the field to the translated schema. This is a schema we're going to be seeing in the next slide. So instead of casting the title, we're going to use the explicit cast embed. So we're going to tell Ecto to cast the data we received in the title params and to do the heavy lifting for us. So Ecto is going to be calling the change set /to function of the schema where we have declared and passing the data contained in the title param. And so this is the actual embedded schema we declare. So we define explicit field, so we're not going to be storing it's not possible to cast arbitrary data in it because we're casting the EN and the FR field. This is validate required. It's a standard Ecto change set validation. So this is a regular change set. It's nothing. It's not a fancy special nested embedded change set because Ecto doesn't care about the source of the data it validates. It only cares about the data. So it handles structs and not database objects. And most importantly, the data stored in the title will be given to us as a translated struct. So this allows us to whitelist the keys in the struct, so it's not just some kind of map with anything stored in it. And that's it. This is how we store translated stuff in our Ecto applications. So and I summarize because Ecto and Ecto schema and Ecto change set are awesome. Thank you.